So the real question is, how can we, as entrepreneurs, health experts, and personal development gurus who want balance in our lives and aren't content to sit on the sidelines, limiting our full potential in body, connection, power, and wealth, help you live your full potential in life? That's exactly what we are talking about today. I'm Dr. Amelia.
And I'm Dr. Jeremy. Welcome to Transforming Self.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of Transforming Self podcast.
Hello there. It's Dr. Jeremy and Dr. Amelia. We are excited to be with you this week. We are going to talk a lot about body connection, power, and wealth. We've been discussing this throughout our episodes. We're going to start connecting all that together and let you know how we do that. Since we're getting near the end of the quarter, or to the last quarter of the year, we're getting ready to reset our targets for that quarter. A lot of people start thinking about the targets, goals around New Year's. And what they do is they set their New Year's resolutions. Probably the vast majority of people focus on body, a new exercise program, a new diet. And the fact is, these fizzle out very quickly. I think everyone gets their gym membership. By February, no one's showing up. And gym owners are just loving that because you're still paying for it and you're not utilizing it. Hopefully, some of the things we're going to talk about will help you stay in the gym, start focusing on all areas of your life so everything is meshing together and you're maximizing what you're doing.
So like Jeremy said, we set quarterly targets. We do this before the first of each quarter. So September is the last month of the third quarter of 2020. And I know everybody is really excited to get 2020 behind us and move on to 2021. And hopefully 2021 will be just a smidge better than 2020 has been. But 2020 hasn't really been that bad for us. Like I said, we've started setting our quarterly targets instead of a New Year's resolution, and we have been very good about keeping on track with what we wanted to accomplish this year. Now, I'll be honest, I have not hit every single one of my quarterly targets, but the fact is I am working towards it. And if I wouldn't have had that target, I maybe wouldn't be as far along as I am now.
And what you need to really look at doing and setting a target is you need to set that target and then basically reverse engineer that. And that's what we do or are getting ready to do here in September for the last quarter of the year.
So what does reverse engineering mean? Well, you set this big target. I want to lose 100 pounds, or I want to work out 5 days a week, or whatever that is. Okay. Those are just words. How are you going to do that? What plan are you going to have in place to achieve that? You have to think about this strategically. So if you want to lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds in a year, that's a lot to lose. So you really need to set up your diet plans. You need to set up your exercise plans. Are you going to utilize a trainer? Are you going to get in Facebook groups to help keep you accountable? Accountability is very important when you are setting targets because, again, they're just words on the paper if you don't actually reverse engineer them and if you don't have people holding you accountable. Now, Jeremy and I hold each other accountable. So what I like to do with my targets is I get a giant piece of Post-it paper. So like it's a Post-it note, but it's giant. And I section it off into 4 quadrants and I write my body, my connection or my being, my power or my balance, and then my wealth or my business. So we call them different things. Then I write down what my target is. So one of our targets, and we do this together, we have some that are the same and some that are separate. So one of our targets, our body target, is to ride a bike trail outside of Lawrence, and it's about 104. So it's a 104-mile bike, so it would be 52 out and 52 back, and we'll ride the 52, we'll stay the night in the town where it stops at, and then ride the 52 back. So that is our target. We're going to do that together for body, and we're going to do that in a couple of weeks. So now you can hold us accountable for that. So then we reverse engineered. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we need to start riding our bikes more. When? What are we going to ride? How long are we going to ride? So we have that planned out. We need to learn a little more about bike maintenance because I don't want to be in the middle of a trail and then not know how to change my tire, which I do know how to change my tire, but something could happen. So we need to learn a little bit about bike maintenance. We need to get a hotel. So we need to put some steps in place to make sure we accomplish our target. Because if we just said, we're going to ride this bike trail, we don't have anything down. We don't know when. We don't have a date on the calendar. We don't have a hotel we're staying at. We don't have anything figured out. So if you write down the target and you figure out how you're going to accomplish that target, you are much more likely to hit that target.
And by doing this, not only do we accomplish things or we stay more focused throughout the quarter, throughout every single week and every single day, because basically we're on a mission, but it really changes basically life. It removes a lot of stress. If you start an exercise program and you really don't have an end goal except to lose weight, well, what happens when that program isn't working? It gets stressful. You get frustrated. You quit. So if you really map this out, reverse engineer it, it makes life a heck of a lot easier.
And we have had a lot of success over the last year. So I was introduced to this work at the beginning of the year in January. I flew to Canada and I participated in an event called Women of Iron and Men of Iron. So I was with five other people. I don't remember how many there were there. So there were 6 people total in my group, and we went through a 2-day live event. And let me tell you, it kicked my butt. So it was all about physical strength. It was all about mental strength, emotional strength. So they put us to the test and we had to do all of these challenges, and we had to work as a group or as a unit or as a team, whatever you want to call it, to succeed with what we were trying to do, with what our end goal was for that weekend. And then the second day, so it was a 2-day event. The second day, we sat down in a room and we worked on our targets. We mapped out our whole quarter. And doing that, it did a couple of things. One, it gave me great camaraderie with this group of 5 people. And we still do coaching calls every single week to talk about our targets, to help keep each other accountable. But it also really proved to me that I could do this, that I was, one, strong physically, but also strong emotionally and mentally, because there's a big emotional and a mental aspect about staying on track with your targets. Because if you don't have it reverse engineered, if you don't, like I said, have it written down, one day is going to come and you're not going to want to do it. If you don't have those people holding accountable, I don't want to do that bike ride. I don't want to eat this good food. I don't want to push for XYZ, whatever your target was. So having the structures in place to help is very beneficial. And one of the reasons we started this podcast is because we wanted to help people do what we're doing. We wanted to help people find their targets, set all of those, have amazing lives, really. And that's what having our quarterly targets has really helped Jeremy and I do, is just have really awesome lives.
Let's talk a little bit about why we use the word target instead of goals. Goals can be a fantasy, a pipe dream, something that we set, but because we don't have a plan or a visual for it, we never achieve those. So we talk about targets. So this gives you a specific thing that you're wanting to do, and you're wanting to hit that target. Sometimes you don't always, as Amelia said, you don't always hit the bullseye, but if you're in constant forward motion to achieve that target, you're going to get close. So you're going to have success and you're going to push forward, and life, like we said, is just going to be amazing because we're constantly moving towards that target.
And even with COVID starting in March, we have still made steps towards our targets. And so for the second quarter, we did have to pivot a little bit because the second quarter started in April, which is right at the beginning of everything heightened up with COVID. And so we had to pivot. There was some stuff we had to shift a little bit, and that's okay. Sometimes you have to pivot. There are things that happen that are out of your control. But the fact is we stayed on our plans. We kept making strides towards the targets that we set. And maybe we didn't hit him. I know I didn't hit my business or my wealth target second quarter. I wasn't even really that close, but I made that same target for the third quarter, and I am almost there. I'm so excited. So I'm getting ready to smash that target because I have kept on track. I have constantly having forward motion in that area and having my accountability, having Jeremy as accountability, sharing my targets with him so he knows, having them hanging up in our bedroom so I see them every single day really helps me stay on track.
One of my targets in the second quarter was to golf an 84. Well, that came around actually fairly easy, but what it really was is I made a very conscious effort to golf every single week, and that's the only way I achieved that. Basically, this summer, I've went from golfing 3 or 4 times a year to twice a week, and it's been a lot of fun. My wife and I are doing it together, so quarter 3, I set a target a little more difficult. I wanted to golf an 82, not once, but twice. I've accomplished it once. I got to get on it this last month to make it. But the thing is, it's keeping me active. It's keeping me fulfilled more than anything. It's given me a chance to kind of relax and rest and do something I really enjoy. And it's scheduled. It's scheduled every single week. We have it on the calendar. When we're out golfing, we try to set our tee time for the following week in the middle of our round because we're having so much fun.
And that's right. And I just started golfing this quarter, and one of my targets was to be able to golf 18 holes from my own ball. Typically, I get a little frustrated after trying to hit my ball about 6 times in one hole, and so then I start golfing from Jeremy's ball. But I have hit that target. I've done it once. I've done it once this quarter, and that's okay. That was my target. My target was to golf 18 holes from my ball, and I did it, and I scored a 120. I know that's not fantastic, but it's a starting place. And I am really enjoying being out on the golf course with my husband as well. Not only is it keeping us out there and, active and doing something, but we're getting to spend time together. This is like our weekly date. We do this every single week. And the one weekend where our golf course was going to be shut down for an event, we had to pivot because we couldn't go to the course we typically went to. So we went somewhere else, and it worked out really well. And that's where Jeremy scored his 79 on a different course. So maybe we just need to try different courses out. I don't know.
So we are so excited to help you guys set some targets, give you some ideas of ways to do this. And that's what we're going to talk about through the month of September. So we want you to join us each week. And until next week, I really want you to start thinking about quarter 4 targets, something you'd like to hit in the 4 areas of your life of body, power, which is fulfillment, connection, which is your being, and then wealth or business. If you don't have a business, let's think about maybe a savings plan, saving for a vacation or something along those lines. But really think about those targets because we want to help you dissect them, reverse engineer them, and show you exactly how to do that over the next few weeks.
And if you get on our Facebook group, we will be talking a little bit about that in the group as well, because I think really seeing what we're doing will be very, very helpful for you. Jeremy and I will be sitting down in September, towards the end of September, and talking about our targets and getting our targets in place for quarter 4. The year that's been kind of a crappy year, just maybe really end it with a bang. So we hope you will sit down and do some targets with us. Next week, we're going to have one of our coaches talk with us. So this is Coach Ryan Doyle. He is out of Canada, but he is our coach who helps hold us accountable. He's the one that brought us the Core 4. He is the one who showed us how to reverse engineer our targets and has talked to us about the importance of targets. And he's who we're working with to make sure we are on track every single week. So we're going to have him on as a guest speaker next week so he can talk a little bit about what he does, why he does it, and how he does it. So join us next week to hear from Coach Ryan.
Thank you all. Have a fantastic week.
And until next time, be courageous.
We want to encourage you to join our Facebook group. We want to connect with you. We want to hear from you and really get an understanding of what's happening in your lives. Our Facebook group is Transforming Self with Drs. Jeremy and Amelia Rodrock. The link will be posted in our show notes.
Again, we're really excited to have you here with us. Until next time, be courageous.